Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for clicking on today's video. It's been a while since I've done a sit-down video, and this message has kind of been on my mind a lot the last year, especially the last year or two, I guess. And that has been just, where can we find peace in today's world? Today's world is so busy, constantly surrounded by consumerism and advertisements, and it's just everywhere we turn there's so much noise. And being me, I consider myself a little bit more of a gentle soul, and so it's not hard to feel overwhelmed and just feeling generally overstimulated. We're constantly surrounded by sources that are in the form of saying that we're staying informed or staying up with the times, and just I don't necessarily always think that being constantly pounded with information is always the best thing. I think it is good to stay up and informed with what's going on in the world. It just lets us know what's happening, and having our head buried in the dirt isn't always the best thing, but sometimes having those moments can really help us. So this last year I've been practicing a lot of different ways of helping me to find a little bit more peace, because our world is so overstimulating often and just a bunch of information constantly coming into us. So my tips that I have 6 tips. And I'm going to go over all those tips with you guys, just to kind of give a brief description of what each one of those are and ways that they can help us. I don't think these tips are going to be for absolutely everyone, and it's just like end all be all to everything, because I don't really think that exists. So it really does apply to certain situations and where you are personally at in life. So tip number 1 is to eliminate or limit your social media use. I've made a video on this in the past. I've been off of social media since the beginning of this year of 2021, and when I reached about 4 months of being off social media, I made a video about how it affected my life and the ways my eyes have almost been opened up to the world, and how weird social media in itself can be. And that still applies. I didn't think I would make it this far. It's been 7 or 8 months since I've been off social media now. So I haven't gone back on. If you want to check out that video, I'll leave a link up above. I still would highly recommend staying off of social media if you can, or at least limiting it, because most social media accounts, I don't know if you've seen, will just have like an information tab, whether you want it or not, of updates going on in like politics, or for example with the coronavirus, just the new things that are going on with the vaccine and all of that. Sometimes you don't always want to just have information fed to you. Like, I think it is good to stay up on information and know what's going on, but also sometimes you want it to be like your choice of what you're seeing filtered in and what's not being filtered in. And having a lot of social media followers, you're gonna constantly have other people's opinions bouncing in onto your life, and sometimes it's good to limit it and just focus on those you love that are around you and their opinion of you, and not anyone else's, or what their thoughts of the world are, and seek their approval first. My second tip of this video is to focus on the now. And this kind of comes with 2 parts. So I'm going to cover them in 2 different ways real quick for you. So the first part of this would be focusing on the present time, not the past or the future all the time. And the second would be to help you in more specific moments of anxiety, of being able to ground yourself and also focusing on where you're at presently, just your space around you. So the first, I think it is important to be able to learn from the past and prepare for the future. But a lot of the times with this, we get lost and we focus a little bit too much on the future or too much on the past. And I often have found times in my life where I'm just wishing for some future event to happen, thinking I'd be so much happier if I had kids and I could fit in with everyone in my life because they all have kids, or waiting for it to be fall because I'm tired of the heat and I'm just ready for it to cool down. And then I know when I get into those future times, there's going to be times where I want to look back and go back to this season of my life. And so I think it's important to just appreciate the now and get what you can from the present point in time. Planning for the future sometimes comes with a lot of anxiety and just hoping and wishing for it, and you're often not satisfied with where you're at in life. And so that's why we're often looking to the future, or we're looking back at a past time where we felt like we were a little bit more satisfied. So being able to appreciate life as it is right now is going to help us so much more. And the second part of this is for those of us who have had anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety back in high school. And during high moments of anxiety, it's really hard to take your focus off of where you're at feeling internally. And what I've learned from those experiences is it's so important to look outside, in a sense. One thing I learned about helping myself to like ground back to where I am is to pay attention to what's going on around me, to feel whether I'm sitting or laying or standing on something, feel what my feet are feeling. What kind of ground am I standing on? Is it wood? Is it carpet? Is it cement? Just being able to really focus in on what it feels like on my feet, or touching a piece of clothes. Is it soft? Is it rough? Is it scratchy? What is it that I am currently feeling with that? And then turn to my next sense. What am I smelling? Am I smelling something sweet like bakery? Is it something dusty because I'm in a warehouse or an office or something? Just being able to move from sense to sense, and I would keep doing that until my anxiety was low enough that I could go on with my life. Because sometimes life just becomes way too overstimulating and I just feel really anxious. So being able to ground myself back to a place that is good for me will help so much in the long run. Tip number 3 is not anything somebody hasn't heard, and that is exercise and using your body to get it moving. It's a well-known fact that exercising increases endorphins, makes you feel good. It just helps with those feel-good chemicals in your brain. And a lot of people don't enjoy exercising, and a lot of people really do. So for me, I have to find what works for me. And a lot of the time that's going on a walk. It's going on a hike up the mountains. Something where I'm physically moving my body, but not overexerting myself to the point of exhaustion. And I think a lot of the times we kind of forget how important exercise is because it's so talked about, and we just kind of forego it because we don't like overexerting ourselves. But being able to put in just enough effort to get our blood pumping and our heart going and getting fresh air outside somewhere really helps with that. And finding something that works for you with exercise can make it a lot more enjoyable, and just it helps in more aspects than just your mental health and finding peace and being able to uplift yourself. It also helps your heart and your blood and your lymphatic system. It keeps it moving, and it's so important to just keep moving forward and pushing your body a little bit more than just staying at rest. Whether you work in an office space or your home, whatever it may be, it's important to get your blood moving and pumping throughout the day. That's what our bodies are made to do, is to keep going. Tip number 4 is doing something you love. And this can be hard. I know there's a lot of people who struggle with depression, especially when you're looking for peace. Sometimes that can be linked to having depression as well, and your motivation is just not there to be able to do something, even the stuff that you enjoy. And so my biggest tip with this is to start small. Just find something small. Do you enjoy cooking? Then go and find some food in your pantry, make something out of it. Just something small where you don't have to go to the grocery store. Or if you enjoy sewing, go and make a small project. Do you enjoy art? Go and do a doodle. Whatever it may be, just do something in a small enough way that you can get the satisfaction of finishing something, but you're not exhausting yourself by doing a big project or something that you enjoy. And if you want to have bonus points and incorporate the last tip, you can also do a form of exercise you love. Again, if you like hiking, go up to the mountains, enjoy nature, just kind of something that is going to bring those happy chemicals back in. It doesn't even have to be something active, just something you enjoy is going to help recenter you in life and take your mind off of everything that's going on around you and in the world. Tip number 5 is something that is a little bit more, I don't know, it's kind of on you, but that is therapy. And I've always been a really big advocate for therapy. I think it's extremely beneficial, and you don't have to be in great emotional disarray to have to go talk to someone or work through it. And there's a lot of different forms of therapy. For me, I went to talk therapy several different times in my life, and it really helped me understand why I was the way I was. And it helped me get things into perspective and just discuss things. For a long time, I really thought that talking to a complete stranger about my emotions would be weird and awkward, and I wouldn't know how to do it because I wasn't used to talking about where I was coming from. but I quickly learned that every second I was there was a second I was paying for. And no matter what I said, they probably have heard something 10 times worse. And it didn't make me crazy that I needed to go get some help at different times in my life. It just made it that it showed that I was willing to change and I was working on myself and that I wanted to improve. I wanted to get better. I wanted to find that peace in my life. And like I said, there's a bunch of different ways of finding therapy. There's different options that are a little bit more affordable, some that are more expensive. So you're gonna have to find what works with you and what'll work within the budget. And it's just important to remember that mental health is just as important as physical health. If you aren't healthy in the mind, you're likely not gonna be healthy in the body either, because you won't be in the mind space to take care of yourself overall. And when you can't take care of yourself, you can't help take care of others. And it's just kind of a chain reaction of needing to be able to start with taking care of your mental health and getting that into a good place. And my tip number 6 is to just turn to a belief system. And this can be kind of controversial. I feel like it's really popular in today's time to not really have a belief system past yourself and being in control of your own life and just believing on yourself. I am a Christian and I do believe in a God that knows me, and I do believe in being able to turn on Christ, and just having a greater belief system has been the most important thing for helping me to find peace. Having something bigger than this world to believe in shows that I don't have to stress, that there is something in control and things are going to work out how they're going to work out. And for me, that just brought a lot of peace of mind that I don't have to be in control of everything. If things start spinning out of control, there's a reason for it. I am going to be okay in the end, and it's just brought a lot of happiness. It's the biggest source of happiness in my life is having something bigger to believe in than just myself. And this is going to depend on a lot of people, what you believe in, what your belief system is, whether you have one or not, and if it works for you. But for me, this has helped me just improve my overall state of happiness. Also, having a belief system gives me a lot of hope, and having hope is the greatest thing for me in being able to find peace. There is hope that there can be peace found and belonging, and we definitely live in a world that does not want people to feel like they belong. It'll say they do, but it's so quick to shut out different groups of people, and being able to have something that encompasses everyone and there's always a place for you to belong is just so much better, and it brings so much peace to me. So yeah, those are my 6 tips for how to find peace in this world. There's a lot of different things that can go into effect here. These are just 6 that have worked the best for me. None of them are crazy thought of thoughts. Most of it is really common things that we know and we do. And I just wanted to get on and just kind of emphasize the importance of it again and let people know that there is hope in this world, to be able to feel like there's peace and belonging. And I think it's important to help each other out in finding that, no matter who it is or who you are. I think it's just so important to know that you can find that peace, and people want to help you find that peace, even if it feels like the world is completely against you or against just life in general. Just remember that you can help your life so much by just changing your surroundings. And this is still a journey that I have to learn. It's definitely not gonna come easy, and it's a really long and slow process of continual growth and moving forward. But I just think it's such an important topic that we do need to discuss, is moving forward with life and being able to move past the hard times. So yeah, that's all I have for today. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. But yeah, that's all until next time. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, my foot's numb. My foot is numb.